Alright. What's up, everybody? The big dog's back here in action. It's a series from last month, which somehow went under my radar. And recently, one of my boys was like, dude, why did you never cast Serral vs. Zoun? It was so epic. And I was like, what? I totally forgot. And that's why this is a match. It's from HomeStory Cup. We've got Zoun in the top right. Some of you may have remembered I already cast Serral vs. Beyond in the upper bracket from this tournament quite a while back, soon after it happened. But yeah, they both find themselves down here in the losers bracket. It's an elimination best of 5 series. Zoun is an absolute monster, and he is going to be opening up, blocks the natural. So Serral goes spawning pool first, pulls the drone back and goes the hatchery. This is way better than going for a hatchery on the third, in my opinion. I think it's a much cleaner opening. The problem is that if the probe hangs around, pretends it's going up, then goes back and blocks it, your build really sucks because your hatchery goes down at like a minute 35 or something by the time you finally get to your third base. But in this case, the gambit pays off for Serral. He's able to block it and or to not get blocked to get the hatchery down. And he's actually got a lot of lava available there. That was kind of interesting, guys. He's making it look like he's building 4 or 6 Zerglings because he saved up lava. So the probe saw 3 lava, the spawning pool finish, and instantly a couple of eggs popped up. That usually means there's more than 2 Zerglings coming. So he's not only gone Cybercore before Nexus, Zoun is also building a Zealot. Now, when he sees only 2 Lings, he should cancel the Zealot because his Adept will be out in time to defend this. I would argue that. On the other hand, he might want to say, well, I need to leave the Adept at home to defend otherwise. But if I have a Zealot out, then I can actually do that. But no, he does cancel it, and yeah. Good scouting by Zoun. He realizes Serral was playing a little bit of a trick on him there. Does not fall for it. Cancels the Zealot, starts the Adept up. But this has slowed down the second gas. And obviously the Lings can get in for a full scout. But seeing Warp Gate spinning is all you need to know that there is no tech. There's nothing to scout in this game. The Zerglings are going to split up though. Oh, I like this hiding. He split the Lings up. And you don't know where that other Ling is right now as Zoun. So it's going to be kind of frustrating. And he's actually going to shade forwards across the map. The probe's still looking for a third. Hasn't found it just yet. A third pylon goes down. I don't think you need a third pylon because the Nexus is about to finish. I think Zoun might be a little thrown off his game here. And he goes Stargate after Warp Gate. It's a sneaky Stargate. You do not want that to get scouted. Oh, because this Stargate's about 30 seconds later than a normal Stargate, but Serral's going to scout it. A spectacular opening for Serral. Unfortunately, though, there is an Adept loose in his mineral line. Great Spore Trick. Oh, good micro so far. Oh, his micro is so slick. Serral doing big boy things. He says, I'm sorry, mate. This isn't a regular Zerg farm. This is a goat farm, mate. And he's going full angry Billy Goat on this man. Zoun better get his horny goat weed out to handle this. I don't even know what that reference didn't make sense. That was just one of those funny products that I thought was hilarious when I saw it on the shelf as a kid in the store. Anyways, Adept gets out of there, gets a little bit of damage. 3 Zerglings go down. Serral's third is finally starting. Apparently it's an all-natural aphrodisiac, for those wondering. Yeah, I saw horny and goat and weed all written on a box in like the pharmacy section of the supermarket where they have headache tablets and stuff, and I just cracked up as a kid, thought it was hilarious. Apparently in the old days, a farmer found out that his goats would get particularly randy after they were feeding on a particular patch of grass, and that it worked on humans too. Anyways, let's go. Overlord's flying in the right side of the base. Void Ray will come out and clean that one up. But a Void Ray doesn't have anywhere near the same impact of an Oracle. So even though Serral's third is slow and his economy is not great, it feels like Zoun is in an awkward position with no way of diving in and getting damage. He can't even force Spore Crawlers. So Serral can just skip spores, drone on up, and be in a very good position right now. And Glaives is on the way, as well as 4 Gateways. So 4 Gate Glaives behind a Void Ray. I imagine he takes a third and macros up behind this. But definitely a weird situation to find himself in for Zoun. Is Serral actually ahead though? Remember, he had to do all those Spore Tricks, all that mining time lost. And it feels like the game has just gotten messy from this opening Serral's done. So let's see, can Serral handle the messiness? He's got a Rotoron going down now. I think it'll be ready maybe just in time to defend these. It's probably going to be about 10 or 12 Adepts coming across the map, about 5 minutes 30. If he saves up his money, he should be able to build enough Roaches to defend it. The problem is Serral's vision is kind of low. He sees a third base, which considering the openings is a pretty quick third. Starts a lair, second and third gas. He's got enough gas to build about 12 Roaches, which is very important. He doesn't see any sign of aggression. He builds 5 more drones. Zoun's doing a great job of hiding this, guys. He's doing a fantastic job of hiding this. A Spore Crawler goes down. Oh, no. You do not. He's got 3 spores. He's going for 8 queens. None of this is what you need against mass Glaive Adepts, and the queens can help. They definitely won't be fantastic. Zoun misses an opportunity to kill a few of those Zerglings there. Just trying to get across as quick as possible. Robo, Forge, 4 gases, and probing up towards his 3rd base. He's got to get some damage done. The first 5 roaches are building, but they are nowhere near out yet. Oh, he does a triple Evo wall! Serral, the king of the Evo wall, the man who famously messed up against Zest, doing that Evo chamber wall at Katowice a couple of years ago, and it ended up losing him his tournament run. But he does it just fantastically here and blocks this. And look at that, shuts that down. The Evos can probably get cancelled, or at least one of them can, but oh, he's going to let those guys in. I think he's decided it's not enough units to really care about anymore. And the Adept Shades do get cancelled. Great defense, good scramble by Serral to hang on there. Void Rays and Adepts pulling on back. We've got +1 melee, +1 range on the way. Blink and +1 attack on the way. More Immortals and a Robo Bay as well. Okie. No 4th base for Serral, but the double upgrades still make me feel like it's a good position. Yeah, especially now with the 4th base going down. He doesn't have anything like a crazy supply lead. Void Ray's still picking off some tumors. These Adepts, especially if Serral moves across the map with an army, could be a great backstab force. I like the patience for Zoun. I mean, Serral's already on high alert. Right now, you're not going to find any damage, but 1 or 2 minutes from now, you really couldn't. I would love to see 2 Adepts hiding in the bottom right corner as well. Because there have been a lot of games where the Zerg kind of forgets that those Adepts are still alive. And bam, 2 Adepts arrive here, 2 Adepts arrive here, 15 drones dead in a matter of seconds, and the Zerg gets in a lot of trouble. Alright, Overseer on the left side is going to get taken down. He decides to pop his eyeball up and look at the lava before going down. Here we go. Okie doke. Spire's on the way. Now that's an interesting one. So Serral is going Baneley Nest and Spire. So this is more of a I might swap to Muted Spire. It's not a I'm banking for it. Because if you're going double upgrades in a Bane Nest, you're going to be making Ravages at some point soon as well. You don't really have the money to go into those Muters. But seeing the Robo Bay and the Disruptors already, he's like, okay, Muter Swap's really good because you're playing so defensive. The problem is that Zoun does have a 4th up. He's got a Stargate. He can build Phoenix. I would say Zoun's issue is just that lack of scouting. Observer can see what moves across the map, but it's not going to see much else. And an Overseer and Queens will probably get rid of that Observer, which is why he's pulling it back. Void Ray comes in, going to grab 1 or 2 drones. I say 1 or 2 drones, but Serral is always slick on those Spore Crawler tricks. 4th base almost finished. Serral's starting to bank some minerals and gas. He hasn't been forced to make Ravages. And this is the problem with playing defensive versus Zerg player. If you don't at least threaten, they can just completely skip Ravages and Banes and only make them if you move across the map. And that saves an immense amount of money, which means, bam, a player who's gone double upgrades is still able to afford 2/2 and 10 Muters all at once. And that's simply because Zoun is playing so defensive. Now, it doesn't mean Zoun's dead, but it does mean Zoun, who doesn't know this is coming, is going to need to react really well in a high-pressure situation. And that's something which only the best of the best can do. Zoun takes out that Changeling. He's moving forwards. Now the Muters are right here. Oh, he might have glimpsed that. He may have glimpsed that. If he blinks to the right, he could catch him. He catches him. He's catching him. Oh, he gets one. Okay, Serral's Muters get caught. Great catch there by Zoun because that defends his main, at least temporarily. He's got a cannon and a battery in the 3rd, a cannon in the main. No battery just yet. But I think with Phoenix production and a few Stalkers, he'll be able to deal with that. Pushing the front at the same time. The problem is Zoun, can you micro at home and land force fields and disruptor shots on the front? Because if you're not looking, Banelings are going to ruin your day. He's just going to go initially throw those shots out. The Phoenix and the cannon doing all right, especially with some Stalker Warpins. The more important fights at the front. The Queens have gone down, the base taking damage. I don't think he's got enough force fields for a full wave, but actually a pretty good wave. He blocks the entire left side of that fight. Zoun with a fantastic timing. He's losing a few probes at home, but he finally gets his cooldown off, warped in, and does take out all but 2 Muters, which means 2 Muters not really a problem. It's going to take them 3 volleys to kill a single worker. Stalkers, Immortals, Disruptors all coming forth. That Disruptor shot completely dodged. Zoun doesn't need to keep pushing. There is no need for him to push in here. He's going to keep doing it at least a little bit, looking for the value, but with no sentries left, only 2 Disruptors, I really would advise him to pull back. On the other hand, he knows better than I do, and he says now's the time to win the game, and Immortal gets taken out. Great dodge again from Serral. Gets the Immortal, only loses 1 Roach to the Disruptor shot, but more units are coming forward. Zoun's going to need to show some big boy micro. as those biles just blanketing the area. But he's up in army supply, and being up in army supply versus Zerg, exactly where a Protoss wants to be, especially when you have this high-level Blink Stalker control, blinking back those weak Stalkers, the Lings and the Banes crashing on in. Supply's very even, but 2-2's about to finish for Serral, and there's only +1 here for Zoun. Zoun is trying to just seal the deal right here, and I gotta say, I think he's overextending. Sometimes this decisiveness wins you games, sometimes it throws away advantages. We'll see which one it is in a moment. Gets a big disruptor shot that got 3 Ravagers just before there. There's only these 2 disruptors, but they are stacking up the value every time they shoot. It forces Serral to kind of disengage a little bit. The Stalker's falling back, Baneling's connecting on them in not the most efficient manner. And the Blink Stalker's taken some pretty darn good fights there. The unit's lost time speaks for itself. Serral may have transferred his drones to the left side, but the Stalkers are headbutting their way in now, and they are jumping on top of these Ravagers. The Disruptors throwing those balls from a distance, catch one of the Banelings that's morphing. Another one can go out at any moment, and beautiful blinkbacks. That Void Ray from the early game has 25 kills. I don't know about you, but I think Florencio was driving that Void Ray, guys. 25 kills at the end of that game. He copped multiple corrosive biles, but that Void Ray was an absolute menace. I was doubting it at the start of the game, saying an Oracle has higher impact in the immediate term, but the Void Ray definitely made up for it in the long term. All right, guys, let's get into it. Game number 2 here. Serral, I thought he did a great early game, but his opponent Zoun there just handled the mutas very well. And I got to criticize Serral because his strategy didn't have any sharp edges. What do you mean by sharp edges, Pig? Well, he went double upgrades, Bane speed, Roach speed, but also went mutas. So that, for me, that's a Zerg going in 2 different directions. Now, I don't mind him playing double upgrades if he's just going to play Macro, Lingbane, Ravager, and then maybe go to like Lurker, Viper, or Broodlords or something like that. Because it's all focused on just having the best possible army, right? Front-on fights, maybe some Baneling run-bys. But if you're swapping into mutas, it's so much more powerful if you get that Spire up earlier, and then you sneak 16 mutas out. You don't need upgrades on your Roaches. You don't need Banelings. You don't need upgrades. You can just go Roach speed, defend with Roach Ravager Zergling, and do a much more powerful swing of mutas into the base. It's more of a gamble, but you're playing Mutalisks. You are gambling inherently when you play mutas in ZvP, because Protoss have Phoenix. Phoenix hard counter mutas. It's always something that you have to catch your opponent off with a bit of a surprise. You can't just be like, hey, here's my Spire, I'm just going to make 50 mutas. Unless you've got a big economy lead, that's not going to work. They're going to build Phoenix, they're going to counter you, you're going to be screwed. So if we have to point out the issue with how Serral played, is that it was macro normie mutas. It was the very EU style of mutas. If you see Rogue in his element going mutas, the man has 6 Zerglings on the map, 2 Roaches, 0 Evo chambers, no upgrades, and then there's 22 mutas hitting the Protoss, and they never even saw the Spire, and they're like, what the hell? How do you have this many mutas this early? And he's just like, lol, played super greedy, idiot. You didn't punish me. And the thing is, Serral had that window to do that sort of rogue style move, but obviously it's not Serral's style. But the mutas didn't have a lot of impact in that game. They unfortunately got spotted coming across the map, which made things a little bit harder for him as well. So very well played by Zoun. His micro and the way he just constantly pushed in there was... That's the sort of thing, I wish I could play that style, but it takes so much micro to play such a good Stalker Sentry Disruptor push. I look at those pushes and I'm like, yeah, that's not me. That ain't me, dog. I ain't going to be microing Stalkers for 5 minutes straight with perfection against a good defensive Zerg. And that's why I prefer much simpler armies. But Zoun, he's got fantastic micro. He's always been one of the best Disruptor PvZ players. And, ooh, wasn't quite able to get that drone, guys. The drone did survive. Serral did a Spore Trick at the last second. And then cancels it out. Now, this is going to be what appears to be a 2-base all-in from Zoun, guys. Usually this is Disruptor drop into 2-base Colossus push. However, sometimes people have been going Disruptor drop into 3-base, actually. There is a different style that comes out sometimes. Now, I wish he took this gas because that's closer to the Overlord. Makes it look more like a normal build. Like, oh, look, he's taking very quick gas. Or maybe he wants to hide the gas, actually. So maybe it is a conscious decision for him to do that. First Disruptor's on the way, as well as chronoing out the Disruptor. Now, he hasn't started his Graviton... I don't know, I can't remember. Let's just call it what it is, Warp Prism Speed. He hasn't started Warp Prism Speed yet, Zoun. I was like, Graviton, Thrusters, Prismatic Engine. I don't know the name of every upgrade. We'll just call it Prism Speed, since that explains it for the newbies as well, rather than having to double up on our words and explanations. And he's actually, looks like he's not going to go for it at all. He's looking for another Overlord on this pillar, I guess. What's he doing? Oh, he's just looking for Oh, he knows there's another Overlord out here. I don't think he gets it, though. So I actually think this might be a mistake. He is making a second Disruptor, a Sentry, lots of gateways. Looks like a big 4-gas play here. Stalkers, Sentries, Disruptors coming in big numbers right now. But the Overlord does get back to safety. Serral escorting that bad boy home. Serral's got a lair up. He's got a bunch more gases. So he's going to go 4 gas, just over 50 drones. He's going to try and rush Roach Speed out. Now, against these Disruptor pushes when they come, best thing to do is backstab them. But if they start going for a third like this, it's kind of an in-between style. The question is that a real third or a fake third? Now, those who might, what do you mean by fake third? Well, number one, he could cancel it, but that's unlikely. More likely is he lets it finish, but he just pulls probes over, but he isn't actually building workers. Notice how these Nexi, the lights aren't flashing on them. They're not building workers. So he's actually just building more gateways and a Colossus. But he builds a shield battery on the front to give the impression of, oh yeah, I'm trying to set up for a macro game. So he wants Serral to build more workers, to make upgrades, to make tech, and then to be surprised by the attack when it finally arrives. Disruptor drop. Roaches are the juiciest targets in my opinion. He gets a Roach and damages a Queen. Not the most impactful, but it is free damage for now. And he's got a Colossus. No extended thermal lance, guys. No extended thermal lance on that one. 8 gateways are there as well. Finally, we see Gravitic Drive. There it is, Prism Speed. I was so curious. I was like, what's it called? So it is going to be Prism Speed and lots of sentries coming in. 4 sentries moving out now with this army. The Colossus is going to march forward. These Stalkers and sentries should move forward as well. Yep, the Adept unfortunately pushed out of the wall, so Lynx could run in there potentially. And he knows, Serral knows exactly what's happening, but he's already built 62 drones, and that's a bit of an issue. 1 Queen goes down. All the Queens heavily damaged, even if they transfuse. That's their energy gone before the fight even starts. Great damage coming out. 4th hatcheries on the way, mass ravages and lings. I really would love to see some backstabs coming out for Serral. Awesome flanks, but he doesn't really have the numbers to do that. He's gone so high on economy, but he's got 6 gas, which means he can keep making ravages all day. He's gonna have to try and zone him out with biles. Force fields could be deadly. Balls go flying. 2 ravages and a Roach go down. The other one does whiff, but that's a very good start for the fight for Zoun. He's got Guardian Shield that's already been activated, warping in more Stalkers. The Prism, of course, needs to be careful. Don't want to get that bad boy biled. Serral's going to have to try and micro his heart out. He's up in army supply, but of course the value is there for Zoun. Goes after the Disruptor, not able to get it. Almost ends up being a bit of a bait. Does bile down one of those units. I think it was a sentry that fell there. And down to just 2 sentries already is Zoun. So he's not got too many force fields left. I think he should keep warping in sentries when he can. But he, of course, is very gas-starved. He also can start probing up his 3rd if he wants to, and just use this position to try and get good value. That's it. Oh, he actually ends up getting a hit. Oh my god, it's just massive second hit. Serral does click on the Disruptor and take it out, but at what cost? 3,000 resources for just 900. My lord, Serral is so far behind in the fighting, but he's got a lot of Ravages and Lings coming in. He can't really afford to lose mining on this base. Another 3 Ravages go down. Oh my god! Zoun is getting value, and as more and more Lings come in, the Colossus is so good at roasting them. Oh, he loses another Disruptor, which does suck, but he's rallying them across the map. So even as he loses them, a new one arrives. He's lost 2 Disruptors, but he's still got 2 on the front lines. That Colossus is someone who is starting to stack up damage. You want to build Lings versus everything in this army except the Colossus. If you can get rid of the Colossus, Lings will reign supreme. But right now, Daddy Colossus is being very annoying. The Zerglings feel pretty much useless in this situation. Roaches and Ravagers trying to do some spreadies. But so many units have been getting picked off. Ravager corpses littering the field of battle. Now, I think some probes went down, so maybe he had some workers on his 3rd, and they got picked off, since 5 workers have gone down in this game. And I missed that because I was staring so much at this engagement on the front, as no doubt were the players. More pylons are being built at home. Zoun's slightly supply block. He's going to rotate around and try and deny this other base. He's getting crazy value in the fights. 2-to-1 cost efficiency, but Bane Speed, Melee are on the way. Thinking about adding Banelings in here is Serral. A couple Zerglings go down to that Disruptor shot. Nothing too crazy. That Disruptor shot whiffs. You don't want to go too far. Oh, he's getting offensive Disruptor drop, but he ends up having to use it defensively. Oh, Serral takes 3 Ravager losses to that. The Biles aren't really landing either. And there's force fields helping hold back the right flank, even stopping one of the Roaches from retreating. A gigantic army. Zoun is just so good with these Disruptor Stalker Sentry armies. That's what I was talking about at the start of the game. I wasn't expecting a 2-base all-in, but in this case, it's kind of like a 2-base all-in with a fake 3rd that is just, it's only being used to transfer probes. The Disruptors constantly forcing Serral back, and the Stalkers, the Colossus are doing so much damage. Remember, there's no blink with this army, so these Stalkers cannot micro as well as other ones. And oh, that's a good fight for Serral. He gets a few of those Stalkers. He doesn't want to walk into his own corrosive biles. He's got to be careful there. The Disruptors are still rallying across the map. A 5th gas gets taken behind this for Zoun. So Zoun just wants to keep rallying Disruptors and maintain these fights on the front. The Disruptor shots forcing a Serral to disengage is so annoying. If I was Serral, I would absolutely split army across the map. Oh, great split. He only loses 1 queen. A Disruptor shot that was in the middle of his army should have killed so much. But Serral splitting is absolutely next level, dude. I thought he was going to lose like 6 Ravages, and at the last second, he avoided almost all of the damage. Serral is doing a great job here, but if he doesn't get a flank, a surround, or a backstab on this army, it's just going to be running and dodging. And honestly, I get it. Serral's been training with his coach, throwing bricks at him, who said, if you can dodge a brick, you can dodge a Disruptor. And he seems to be doing pretty well at that, but I don't know if dodgeball's a winning game in the long run in a match of StarCraft. As Zoun's definitely the one who's going to be enjoying this interaction a little bit more. But you are up against a 4-base Zerg, and that does put some pressure on you to get some urgency going. Disruptors once again, though, every single time, forcing him to disengage. And oh my god, he's just got too many Disruptors. There's 4 in here. They're all off cooldown now. But you know what? Guess what? One's ready to fire. There's just no openings. Oh, big Disruptor shot. The Disruptor's getting back down the ramp. A force field comes in. The Biles, though, forcing Zoun back. Zoun is still alive, though. That Colossus is now up to 35 kills. It is doing such a good job in this match. The Disruptors, ooh, not quite landing. But there's morphing Ravages, which cannot run away. And he gets 1 more. Oh, another big shot. Gets a few Ravages and Zerglings. But 2 Disruptors caught up front. Big mistake there for Zoun. Good spready for Serral. He only loses 2 Ravages. Could have been a lot worse. But his Lings are getting annihilated. This is the problem. Lings are good versus everything except that Colossus. Banes come in. A lot of those get blocked. My god, there's only 2 Disruptors here, but the Ravages, the entire flank has evaporated. This is wild, dude. The Disruptor count, he's killed 5 Disruptors, doesn't matter, there's still 2 up front, and they are so punishing! 2 more Ravages go down, the second one does fall short, just barely. The Stalkers, the Colossus marching in and out, they are trying to fight their little hearts out. This hatchery surviving on 17 hit points. Serral has been mining so many more resources for so long, at 7 minutes of about 800 minerals more a minute. But despite that, the efficiency of the balls, the Stalkers, the Sentries, and of course, Big Daddy Colossus, it's not something Serral's happy with. Oh, Biles! Landing, Zoun's Colossus almost falls. A few Stalkers and Sentries go down. He may be getting a bit too antsy. He does want to keep forcing the fights. Sorry guys, bad observing there. I'm getting so bloody excited by this. Zoun's third, by the way, 12 workers on minerals, 1 on gas. He's just transferring workers as his main and natural mine out. And the thing is, Serral's 4th is helping him, but he's going to run out of money. He's going to have to take a 5th at the top. He needs to do some more backstabs. He's got to find a way to engage from multiple angles. I think he's just got a few too many units on the front right now, to the point where, oh, the Disruptors just keep landing. Shooting gallery right now. This is not what Serral ordered. It's absolutely what Zoun ordered. 22 Ravages have died in this game. As have 42 Stalkers, 5 Disruptors. Oh, I like this move. The Banelings are going to roll in there. Watch out for Disruptors on the front while this is all happening. Banelings getting some big juicies. Zoun's economy was small. It's now smaller. 12 probes go down, but at the same time, Adept Shade in and get 5 drones. Disruptor shots continuing to force Serral back. Oh, great spreadies for Serral, but oh, the last Disruptor shot gets 3 Ravages. 1 Disruptor does get caught out. There's no force fields left. The Link Bane. Oh no, these Stalkers don't have Blink. They're getting surrounded. The Sentries getting absolutely blasted down, but you got to be careful. All those Disruptor shots, Serral dodging at the last second, still loses a bunch of Zerglings, 7 of them to that Disruptor shot. Banelings trickling in from behind. Serral is hanging on like a goddamn champion right now. This 4th mining base this whole time gives him that income advantage. His spreadies are so good. It's just a very high pressure situation. He's absolutely sweating right now. The Colossus is up to 75 kills, roasting and toasting these Zerglings. Just 1 Colossus, doesn't even have a range upgrade, but it is a nightmare for Serral continuing this game. The Roaches are not being built. I think Zoun, he's going to do well with the Colossus. Oh! 4 Ravages go down! That was a huge disruption. He's got to build more Roaches and Ravages. He can't just build Ling Bane. Lings are clearing out the 3rd, which is great. Queens finally defend the Adepts on the far north side. 54 drones versus 28 probes. That is still double the work count for Serral. And this 4th base does live on. Now, he might be able to give it up. He might have to give it up and just transfer drones to the top. I think it's a good idea because he doesn't seem to have the numbers to really punish. Zoun is not getting hit by Biles. Oh, that's a good one. 2 Ravages going down to that Disruptor shot. Another one comes forward, gets a bunch of the Zerglings. This series is hype as all hell. The Colossus up to 97 kills. Add a few broodlings to that to get it up to 98 now. That Colossus is wild, man. If that Colossus ever went down, this is game over. Lings would annihilate this army with +2 melee and a surround. The Disruptor's marching forward. The balls of war. Let loose the balls of war. Zoun, a savage madman. I think he might be going a bit deep on creep. Maybe rotate around the right and go for that new 4th base. But he says, no. I think I have momentum. I think I have the numbers. Let's do it now. I lost my 3rd base. I have to go. He realizes he can't waste any more time. Zoun has to win the game right now because remember, he's only mining minerals on his natural. He has 4 mineral patches left. His income is absolute trash. 700 minerals versus 2,200 a minute. Serral may be losing the fights cost for cost, but his income is bigger. He's survived for long enough. He might just be able to hang on. As I say it, a Disruptor falls, but like 5 Ravagers died for it. That is, I mean, there's cost inefficiency, and then there's whatever the heck Serral's Ravagers are doing versus these Disruptors. Big Daddy Colossus still standing strong at 99 kills. No more Zerglings in the mix, so it's not as effective. You're going to notice its kill count stop going up. I love the swap back to Roach Ravager for Serral, but it means he has to be even more respectful of these Disruptor shots. Luckily for him, there's only 1 Disruptor, plus 1 more about to pop out at home, but it'll take a while to get to the front. Great spreadies here. If he can get rid of the Colossus, he can swap back into Lings. The Colossus goes down! The Colossus goes down! Serral's held it! Serral has actually held on! Oh my god, Serral! Microing his heart out for 10 minutes straight. What was that game? That was so crazy. Zoun doing such a good push. Anyone else would have broken under pressure, and there was a few great shots in there. But gosh, this final fight, I want to check how many kills the Colossus had before it went down. What a crazy game too. 100 kills and then it died. That is so sick. Let's go to game 3. All right. That was crazy. Zoun is going to come over here on Tropical Sacrifice. Representing Alpha X, of course, by the way, Zoun. I should have mentioned that earlier. Up against Serral. And forces Serral in the bottom left, representing Ents to take that 3rd. It's now tied up 1 map apiece. And what a crazy game. The playing of this series, I believe Serral was rank 1 on Aligulac. And I think Zoun was about rank 20, maybe 22 or 23 even. So it's kind of crazy to see the back and forth being so close, but I actually think Zoun traditionally has been one of the better Koreans at facing the European Zergs, because he can play a late game quite good, but he also has these surprisingly strong timing attacks that the Europeans don't play against as regularly, and that's what we saw so far, of course. Nexus going down behind it. We'll be going for the Cybercore and then finishing off with the 2nd gate in the wall a bit later on. Probe's going to come in for a little bit of harassment. All right, Probe's mining those minerals. And here we go. Drone there, doing what it can. Yep, good micro by Serral, not really letting himself get bounced off any of these mineral patches yet. Zoun unable to interrupt him. 4 Zerglings are being built immediately. The standard number means if they block your 3rd base, you can easily tear that pylon down before the Adept arrives. And it looks like no warp gate, so just going to chrono an Adept across the map and make a Stargate at home. Good choice by Zoun here. Very standard play. No crazy robo opening this time around. Zerglings moving forward. Got to clear the probe. Otherwise, he can block you. Zoun kind of threatens it, but doesn't look like he wants to commit to it. Serral's going to pull 1 Zergling back. So 1 Zergling will go across the map, but on a direct path, which is a little weird. I notice Zoun moved out with the Adept to make him think he's moved across the map, but he's actually just waiting there. Link speed's on the way, as well as that 3rd hatchery coming on down, about 32 supply. And very conservative play from here for Zoun. He's just chronoing probes, both Nexi, non-stop chronoing, pumping out those workers as quickly as can be. And expect the next chrono boost to go into the Oracle. So you start the Oracle, and about 3 seconds later, you hit 50 energy, and kapow. Chrono boost goes in. Now, this Adept is going to go in for a scout, because he's got a 2nd Adept ready to block any Zerglings at this point. He's going to see the 3rd base, scout up into that main base, and if you want, you can just check how much gas they've mined to see if there's any chance of like a Bane bust. If you see only 1 gas mining, you can click the gas geysers, see the gas remaining. So Zoun's basically just being safe. He's like, yep, nothing to worry about here. Oh, 330 is when Link speed kicks in. Better shade backwards just in case. But hey, Gets a Zergling kill for just a few hit points of damage. Not too bad. That Zergling runs away. Oracle trying to avoid that Zergling by the looks of it. But I think it's going to barely skim the Overlord Vision. Yeah, he changes path and does go through Overlord Vision a little bit. 2 Queens are in the main. Should be able to handle that as long as they move forward to greet it. But the Oracle's going to just hang between the bases. Grabs a lava. Yep. Drone does get killed there. Refund on the money, of course. And quick Evo Chamber. Oh, that's cute. Evo Chamber costs as much as a Spore, but it has a lot more hit points. You need more room to place it, but definitely a good way of doing it. And finally turning the Oracle Laser off is Zoun, wanting to preserve just that last little bit of energy. Now, there is a second Oracle. It's just guarding the third base, though. He's got 2 Adepts there. I don't think you need an Oracle and 2 Adepts and a Shield Battery to guard the third. Interesting that Zoun is playing such a safe game, but maybe this is just part of the insurance that he always builds. He needs a Pylon right now, or he will be getting supply blocked. And definitely a Pylon, more important than that Shield Battery. There we go. Pylon's going to go down in that main base. And he does build a Phoenix, which he can use to remove this Overlord on the pillar. Now, Serral's on 48 drones. Notice he's up on 3 full worker lines. Evo Chamber, Roachwarren, and a second gas goes down. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lair start up. There we go. Can I say I can see into the future, guys? I have my notepad with me, as always, with notes to say and specific timing so that you can sound smart, I believe it's... Oh, yeah, sound smart. That's what I wrote down for myself. No worries. Probably should... What's the second note say? Don't read this notepad alive on it. Oh, shit. I should always read the second... should put that as the first note. Don't say it out loud. Okay, no worries. Oracle's going to move around the north here, see if they can find an avenue on that worker line for damage. There's not many spores. Actually, there is 2 spores. This is the only base that doesn't have a spore. But I think 2 queens is going to make it a little scary for Zoun to go in there. Yeah, he goes in, goes out. Not much damage on either side. I mean, Zoun hasn't lost a single unit, so we can't really criticize his play. Doesn't want to let the Phoenix take too much damage, so he just kind of pulls that back. Serral's going to keep Zergling scouting, making sure there's no 4th base. Few Adepts coming across the map. It's cute. This is just trying to force Serral to build non-drone units. Serral builds 5 Roaches and 4 Zerglings and just goes straight back to drones. So not that much respect for that move. And it is Blink and +1, which, you know, I remember a time when everyone thought Blink was just the really trash way to play PvZ, but lately it's been coming back in, and he didn't go Robo. Oh, it's a 5 gas. It's a 3-base Blink push, guys. Seeing no 4th base in of itself doesn't ring alarm bells. It's still very early, but Serral needs to start massing Roachling because with that, he skipped the Robo, which saves you so much money, and instead is just using a Pylon on a gateway to make it into a fast warp-in Pylon. Oh, this is a very, very good situation, dude, for Zoun if he can get some momentum, but Serral's actually been very safe. He's made a lot of army. He's got Roach speed not too far away, +1 melee. He's got to pull his queens to the front. Phoenix does pick up one of those queens. Stalkers try to shoot it down. And, oh, the Stasis Trap could be big here. Not a bad one. Gets 4 Roaches and a Zergling. Stalker on the right side, a little bit derpy. Blinks it back to the rest of the crew, where it does get promptly picked off. Can't pull back the Queen from the Phoenix left, but of course the Phoenix will go down in a second. The moment the Phoenix choose to shoot it, the Oracles are using their laser beams, but the Queen's pushing them back. Stalker Blink Micro is pretty good so far. Keeps blinking back these weak boys. Stasis Trap does break, though. That's something where I wonder if Zoun wants to put another Stasis Trap down. It might be a little bit too far back, knowing Serral's not going to chase into it. Stalkers are getting very low. It might be time to pull back. He's going to turn on his laser beam to help with the Oracle's help against the Zerglings. Looks like a few Zerglings came in behind, but they're getting frozen as well. Trying to keep the momentum up. He wants to kill Serral before these Ravagers get out. The Ravagers are going to help Serral a lot. Serral is building nothing but Ravager Zergling. If he can hang on against this push, he'll be good. But his 4th base is in a very bad position. He needs to send a drone to the north to take a new 4th. Giving up that base is not the end of the world for Serral. Remember, he's still up about 8 or 9 workers. Unfortunately for him, though, Mass Stalker on the front lines. So it is scary. All these eggs are going to go down. At least he gets refunds when they die. And Ravagers, Zerglings. Ooh, Zerglings could go for a backstab. There is a battery there. Looks like he's just going to try and flank this army. Sets off the stasis with a single one. Uh-oh. Zoun's gone too deep. Zoun's gone too deep. +1 melee Zerglings could surround that. But apparently he was afraid of the Oracle, maybe? I don't know. It's kind of weird that these Zerglings are dilly-dallying as much as they are. He's going after the warp-in pylon. And there's no probe on the front. If he gets the pylon, that'll be big. Trying to actually kill the gateway as well. The pylon way more important. Serral finally does that. The Ling's going to run off to the right side. New 4th base is building in the north. +2 melee and Baneling speed are on the way as well. Zoun, let's check out the value for him. He's ahead about 1,300 resources in units lost. He starts a 4th base. Oracles see these Zerglings. He's going to have to turn on that laser beam to save this Nexus. And no. Okay, there we go. Does turn it on. Stalker's going to push these Lings back as well. All right, it's 4 base versus 4 base. Serral's 4th popping back up. He's got a macro hatch. I'd like to see a 5th base and also tech towards Hive for him as well. It looks like he's thinking about aggression right now, but against Mass Stalker, especially if some batteries get up, that's always a little dicey. Robo's on the way as well as Charge. Zoun is probing on up, so equal workers on both sides. Oh, you know what? Serral's massing army, but sitting back defensive. I think he might be waiting for Zoun to push him. I think he knows that Zoun is most comfortable when he's pushing into a Zerg player. So he's like, if I just make a massive army and hide it, and then you push on creep, I surround you, crush your army, and then I win the game. Whereas if I just march across the map and you see that army coming, you're going to take a really good defensive stance. But, oh, good scouting. Zoun finds the army and is like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Just got to play safe there. Baneling's quickly avoided there by Zoun. Only loses 2 probes. Very nicely done. Really good micro by him. He's got a cannon in the battery coming up on that base. You'd like to have a wall off, but since he's already on 8 gateways, he doesn't really need it. Templar Archives coming in, and I believe the Robobait is not even started yet. Just more gateways. He's going to play Mass Zealot Stalker Archon? Really? Okay. It can work, definitely, but since Zoun doesn't have that big, crazy economy advantage that a lot of players go for with this style, it's really all just about the Stalker micro. That's the main feature in this matchup. +2 is on the way here for Zoun. +1 range started for Serral. Serral's Hive is on the way, as well as a 2nd Evo chamber. Okay, so 2 Evo chambers up for him. Looks like he might add Carapace upgrades as well. Bane's getting caught out. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, definitely worth blinking on that. Catches about 5 Banelings there. Ling's catching some Zealots. Good recall for Zoun. He's only going to lose 1 or 2 of those. Ooh, he lost 3, actually. Only saves 3 of those Zealots. But better than just losing them all completely. Psystorm's on the way. Oh, so he's going to go Stalker Storm and get a gateway wall with cannons. Okay, very nice play for Zoun. Ravagers could easily tear that down, but Lings and Banes are not going to be able to get through there. This allows him to focus on the north side, where we probably want to see Zoun take this base and this base next. The problem he's going to run into is that Hive tech. But a Hydra Den goes down. Oh, no! Serral wants to play Lurkers, but he just started the Hydra tech, which means Lurker tech is miles away. And, oh, I mean, Lurker's good versus Stalker Storm. He's got to watch out. Psystorm could be ready. He doesn't know that it was 5 seconds away, so of course he doesn't want to chase up that ramp. Would have been a bad idea. Oh, Ling Bane surrounding Zealots. That's always nice. He could just get in the corner there. Oh, but he goes too far. Get in the corner. Oracles will come and make this a bit of a costly trade for Serral if he hangs around. But nope, he's quick to retreat, get out of there. Adrenal Glands is on the way. Where's that Lurker Den, Serral? If you want to play Lurkers, you better bloody get that Lurker Den down yesterday, dude. And I think he's going to go that way. But oh, big Psystorm on the Banelings. Dude, Zoun is large and in charge right now. Equal army supply. He's adding armor upgrades as well, catching more and more Banelings. Serral's run-bys are getting sloppy. Serral's tech it's Raynor timed tech. For those who don't know, Serral is famous for getting crisp Hive tech, but he's playing like Serral, Raynor or Dark. Guys who never get their Hive tech, but they're used to it. Serral is not used to playing on Ravager Ling Bane for such a long time, and I don't think he's going to be able to find a good engagement unless they make a mistake. Zoun's got a lot of Psystorm. The stasis traps. He's got so much Psystorm backing this up. This is so hard to engage. Zealots on the south are stopped by the Spine Crawlers. Perfect timing on those spines there. Oh, the Psystorms! The Psystorms are big! Those are some big boy storms. Doesn't panic and overdrop them. I would have dropped about 5 storms on the same spot. Only drops 1 or 2 there and gets maximum damage. Zoun cleaving right through Serral, and we've got to ask that question, where was the Lurker tech? He made a Hive, forgot the Hydra Den, forgot the Lurker Den. Ravager Ling Bane hits an expiry date, man. The Baneling count as well. Remember, so many Banelings got shot down without even connecting, and that's a huge issue. You can see that. The High Templar getting some storms on top of this. The Stalker's blinking forward. At the end of that game, 77 Banelings died. And those are the Banelings that got shot down without connecting, without blowing themselves up. If you blow a Baneling up or click it on something and it blows itself up, it doesn't show up here. 77 Banelings that got shot down by the enemy units. That's ridiculous. Really, really nice game by Zoun. Alright, his back's up against the wall. But you know what, guys? An angry goat is sometimes scariest when its back's up against the wall. And he's going 14 hatch before Overlord to avoid getting blocked. I don't know if that's good or not. Serral in the bottom left side doing a very special build order, guys. I haven't seen this one before. I am very excited to see how it plays out. Zoun in the top left going for a gate into a gas. Man, what a build. 14 hatch. What a madman Zoun that he gets here early enough that you need to go 14 hatch to get it down. He got there 10 seconds before a 16 hatch would go down. Like, that's unnecessarily early, but I guess it's just Pylon Scout is that early on this map. Like, I don't think it was a 13 Pylon, or maybe it was. But I think Serral's just like, hey, this denies him from getting the block, which he so badly wants, and I think that's worth it, and fair enough. You do you, Serral. I like it. I want to see how it plays out now. No gas just yet. I think this guy takes a gas, right? Still no gas. Is he going to take the third hatchery in the back, gasless? Serral bringing out a big boy build. Zoun's like, okay, this is weird. If I was Zoun, I'd 100% chrono 2 adepts across the map because you know he's not going to have ling speed. So you can be very annoying. And there's a good amount of room off creep over here where you can run the adepts around and kite slow zerglings. So definitely worth him doing. We'll see which way Zoun chooses to approach it. Seems to be saving chrono for now, whereas as this pylon finishes, we'll get to see. If he immediately chronos probes when the pylon finishes, then he's not going to be crazy aggressive with his first 2 adepts. Let's find out. We're going to chrono? Nope, he's just going to chrono the adept. Okay, so that's absolutely the choice I would go for here. Serral does drop that quick third hatch gasless. He's going for the big boy economy build. He's been watching Vibe, apparently. Vibe has always been a fan of the gasless 3 hatch openings. And the problem has always historically been if someone's really good at microing or Reaper or a couple of adepts, they can actually just force a lot of zerglings and be very annoying and really disrupt your opening. But Zoun not even going to go for the aggression at all. I think that's a terrible misplay. I mean, blocking the scout is nice, but I mean, I guess he's going Twilight Council and he's blocking him from scouting that. I really feel like you should always be pressuring someone who doesn't have gas, because now Serral has got 1 zergling on the map and he's doing nothing but building drones and queens. I'm going to argue that this is a big misplay for Zoun. Just on a strategic level, I think he's too focused internally on hiding his build rather than punishing Serral's build. That's my take. I understand there's definitely a very real argument that with his build, denying scouting might be essential. He might be like, no. I'm going to hit a really crisp glaive timing and I need him to not know it's coming. That's an argument that I can stand by. I can understand has some merit. He's cutting probes to get 2 gateways down. I think he's going to build 1 more gateway and then go probes, right? 1 more gateway here. You can't just play 3 gate with this, I don't think. He's going to get a pylon first. Notice he's pulled 1 worker off each gas geyser, guys. Interesting. Only 3 gates seems very minimal for this commitment. What's going on here? What is this probe doing? What's going on? Did he think he was going to get drone drilled there? It's a very odd situation right now. I think the only reason he pulled the probe to the front is he thought Serral might do a drone drill all in. But to do that here on this map would be absolutely crazy. Finally, that 4th gateway goes down much later than the others. Interesting that Zoun waited so long to do that. Looks like he's going to hit about 4 minutes 40 with some adepts, but he's waiting right now with the prism. And okay, he's going to get an overlord kill. Serral's up to 43 workers. Has this greedy opening paid off? Well, he's starting roach production at the perfect time. The prism hasn't even moved out yet. The overlord, I don't think, got to see this. Okay, 6 adepts moving forwards. The stalker will take up station in the wall. Notice he shift-held position that to make sure it stays in place. Serral doing nothing but building roaches and perfect placement. Oh, is he going to use the spore to lock the door? Oh, he's going to use the spore crawler to lock the door, guys. Ooh, so he doesn't have to build an evo chamber. He can just open it by uprooting and then lock it by rooting. And I got to say, guys, being able to lock your door just by having a root, that's something I'm very envious of. Oh, that's so annoying for Zoun. That's so annoying. The roaches can come out and start fighting the adepts now. He shades and accidentally splits the adept shades. The prism's going to have to go work in the main base. I mean, he still forces a fair number of roaches out. so it's not the end of the world. He's going Robo Bay, 4 gases, third base. It doesn't feel like Zoun's too far behind from this, but still just an exceptionally clean way of defending for Serral. And I feel like his drone count's going to explode now. All right, an Adept for a Roach. Maybe a decent trade. Second Adept goes down, though. Queens are going to come forward. Another Roach falls, but so do some of these Adepts. Where's the Transfuses at? Queens finally rock up to the front. 6 Queens there. Of course, the Queens are ready to stop the Prism from rotating into the base. Got to make sure he keeps up his injects, keeps up his droning. Serral, though, actually building a surprising number of Roaches here. He's gone to... Oh, no, it's only 12 Roaches. Never mind. Ooh, the Observer gets shot down. That's a big loss. Ooh, the Adept Shade gets in. The Spore was out of position to get that, but he has to cancel the Shade. The Queens have been lured out of position. Zoun, oh, great drone pull by Serral. Just really clean, quick on the pickups and the pullaways. Third base is getting probed up. We've got Blinks, Speed Prism upgrade, and Disruptors. Zoun is playing a very good game from a hard position after those first Adepts got blocked. And I want to see him join another Adept up with that Prism potentially. Spore Crawler still locking him out of this base, and yet another Adept or two will go down. Roach Speed's about to finish, so he's got to get out of here, because those Roaches are going to be able to chase him down now. Yep. 3.5 move speed versus 4.2. The Roaches will back off, though. 4th hatchery on the way, Baneling Nest. Ling Speed finally starting up here for Serral, only after Roach Speed is done. And he's going to be just bouncing up in that economy. I wouldn't be surprised if Serral takes a 5th base over on the right soon, as kind of like a macro hatchery that he can also drone up later. Just because, remember, this is only 2/3 minerals, and he's also playing Lingbane Ravager again. He'll need a lot of production. All right, what do we got, guys? Disruptor Prism moving down the right side. He's going to come in, drop those balls. On that Roach ball is what he wants. Even the slow Zergling is going to struggle to dodge because they are slow. Oh! IF5 drone's not bad. Obviously, there was a juicier pack of drones moving to the left, but Zoun just goes for the ones that didn't move. Gets 5 drones, still very successful. His third base is saturated. Going to take that 5th gas geyser. He's a little starved for gas right now, but he's moving forward with that frontal army. Seems to be his trademark. Get an army on the front, just on the edge of creep, and just create a shooting gallery to land those disruptors on Serral. Stalker's starting to get picked off. Ling Speed's not quite done, but it will be in a moment. And it's all about how Serral handles these. Serral, look, he's going to be distracted by these Adepts. Oh, he walls out even just 2 Adepts coming in. Very nice moves. He sees that Disruptor, and he's got to pull back. Adepts get cleaned up. Spore moves out of the wall. That takes a lot of micro. I really don't want to underestimate or unemphasize how hard it is to keep doing that, to root that, then remember to go back and uproot it. It's like a weird little technique that if you haven't done it before, you're going to fumble on. You're going to mess it up a few times. But Serral's clearly got a camera location he's set up there, and he's actually just quickly jumping to that camera location and blocking with it. Jump to that location, uprooting it to open the door, and he's built that mechanical habit in to the point where it just happens like clockwork. Ooh, here we go. Oh, Ravagers, watch out. Great dodges. Serral taking no damage from that at all. Overseer scouting the bases, seeing what's up. He sees that the Forge is only now going down. When you've got a Hive and +2 melee on the way, you're feeling pretty good about this. Zoun has not been able to find any avenues to trade with Serral in this game. He's really... The trading is kept small. It's relatively even between the players. Almost exactly even, in fact. And that's very good for Serral, because he's got a big army of just mass... Oh, he doesn't have Bane. He forgot Bane speed! Oh, no! Serral's attacking with mass Ling Ravager and slow Banelings, which are, of course, Disruptor Magnets. The Disruptors fire a bit too early. Force fields need to come down, I think. Oh, he popped 2 Guardian Shields. A bit of a mistake there. Could have had a few more Force fields. My god, the mass Ling from behind is deadly. Serral seems to just have the numbers advantage off of this smooth 3-hatch opening that he got away with this game. The lock on the door blocking the Adepts, and now Adepts are being forced to warp in. And that's not the unit you really want to be investing in later on in the game. You'd rather be adding Archons, because not only do they deal with Zerglings, they do good versus Roach Ravager, Banelings as well, whereas Adepts are only really good versus the Zerglings. Zoun being forced into budget solutions here. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Keeps trying to catch the drop now. Ooh, but Serral keeps turning around. He keeps wanting to catch Serral just as he's disengaging and not watching. That's what this dance is about, because if he's just a little too far away from the prism, you can get the shot off. But if he's right on top of it, you'll die before the shot actually explodes. Do you guys remember when they tested disruptors exploding on impact in the balance test? That was one of the craziest patches ever. I don't think it ever made it into the live game, but it was crazy. So basically the way it's shot is like, if there was a Zergling or a Marine or a Worker blocking, it would just explode on that and only kill that one thing. Which was really sick because a lot of the Terrans had muscle memory and the Zergs where they would try to run forward and kill the disruptor before the shot went off. So you would just fire the disruptors out and they would run into it and they would all explode in succession instantly and just blow up their whole army. It was some of the most comical stuff I've ever seen in StarCraft. Like, I felt so disgusted. There was other fights where the Lings just blocked every disruptor shot and they did nothing. You're like, well, this is terrible. It was a bit of a mixed bag, but when it worked, it looked amazing. Ooh, he gets a feedback on one of the Vipers, but he's not able to get the second one. Disruptors have already blown their wad, and Zoun just does not have the numbers. Serral overwhelms. All right, let's go game 5. This is an epic series. Zoun in the bottom left side on Data C. Once again, going for the trademark block, and this time Serral not going to gamble on that 14 hatchery. He's in the top right. Representing ENCE Esports, it's ENCE versus Alpha Rex, a battle for the ages. And honestly, I think both players have fought their hearts out so far in this series. Whoever wins, I'll be very proud of them and impressed. Quick correction, by the way, the disruptors exploding on impact. Apparently, it was almost an entire year of StarCraft where that happened. I was like, what? Really? Apparently, like 2018, people are saying when Neeb played against TY and GSL, something like maybe late 2017 or in 2018, sometime around then, that was the thing. And as players got good at it, you would basically engage the Protoss and you would click Marauders and run them forward to individually tank the disruptor shots. It was actually pretty fun and interesting micro. But yeah, they ended up reverting it. It did last for a while, apparently, in the live version of the game. But my memory is always so shaky. You know, things change so much, and you kind of have this deep intuitive understanding of like what each unit is in the current balance. And like, this unit is what it currently is and what I play on it, and I forget what it used to be. So it's really interesting. There were also times where if Lings surrounded you, you would end up killing your whole army. Because the Lings, like, you couldn't get the disruptor shots past the Lings. So if Lings just surrounded like a disruptor stalker army, you just like couldn't fire disruptor shots. You had to like recall or wait for like Archons or something to clear the front line of Lings, because otherwise you'd hit your own army more than you'd hit the Zerglings, and you'd be like, well, this is super gross. So I guess there was definitely some reasons why they reverted that. Probably feeling like it wasn't consistent to build disruptors. I imagine they fell out of fashion during that. No one forgets the Machine Gun Cyclone, though. The Machine Gun Cyclone was one of the funniest units. Oh, Serral catches the... Oh, does he? Yep. Catches that probe, trying to hide there for the block. Does see the drone coming down to take the hatchery, though, so good scouting there for Zoun, who... Zoun loves denying scouting. The thing is, he delayed Warp Gate to go Stargate. But I guess if you do some tricky openings where you do that and then sometimes still play Twilight Council anyway, you could still trick your opponent. It's going to go across the map. The second adept will block this Zergling from coming in if it tries. Alright, Adept's running forward. Queen's going to start hitting her. Ooh, get away from my baby, says the Queen. But, ooh, nice Spore Trick, but that's going to go down. There was no room to build a Spore Crawler, so a very nice start. The Adept gets a drone. Second gateway goes down. Oracle's getting chronoed across the map. Pretty good start for Zoun so far. Nothing to get too excited about, though. It's up 4 probes. About 40 workers is where the Zerg usually starts to catch up and then overtake the Protoss player. We'll see if that indeed will be the case. The Oracle coming in. No Spore Crawlers available. Second Queen's going to pop just before the Oracle arrives. And there's 2 Queens here as well. But drones in the open on the natural, that usually is what Zoun looks for. Zoun looks for those exposed areas. And the lava, something he was happy to take advantage of that lava in the previous ones. Queen's going to come over to the top side, and the Oracle does duck on back behind the natural. It's pretty healthy so far, so as long as he hides the Oracle, you don't really know, is it up here, is it down here? And Serral, that main base, is actually a little exposed, comes back in looking for that rally. He's going to find it, gets at least one, and oh, good Spore Trick. Only loses 1 drone. Serral, very tight defense. Evo Chamber goes down here at 420. 420, a good time to light up those upgrades, of course. Smoke a big old fat +1 melee, maybe. Phoenix is going to go for the Overlord. Battery on the 3rd. Yeah, so this is just Zoun's build. Double gas, battery on the 3rd into Twilight Forge. This is kind of the setup that Zoun likes. Now remember, in this same setup on Tropical Sacrifice, Zoun did not make a robo. Zoun just went 8 gateway, only took a 5th gas, stopped at about 58, 59 probes, and then just went mass Blinkstalker off a proxy gate. If he does that, he'll probably look to proxy the gate either down here, over here, somewhere down near that right watchtower. But there are Lings in position, making it hard for him to do that. The Adepts coming forward, exact same build as from that map on Tropical Sacrifice. So far, Adepts cancel the Shade. He's denying the 4th base, which is pretty good, but Serral quick to get back down there and start that one up. Adepts are going to Shade on back as well. Gets in the corner where the Lings can't engage him too well. Oracles dive by on the north. The Queens did get a few hits off though, so they know about it. Is there no Roach Horn? There's no Roach Horn. Serral's playing Massling Bane. Serral's playing a little bit of a wild style, going for the Massling Bane, and Templar Archives is on the way. Oh my. Serral is hoping to run into the same Blink build, but we haven't seen Blink or +1. Yeah, it's Charge. Oh my lord, it's going to be a Charge build, and he's not even going to make a Robo until he goes Disruptors. Now the question is, does he play 3-base Charge Archon, take a 4th, add Disruptors? Yeah, double gas goes down. So I don't think it's going to be a big attack timing from Zoun. Zoun is going to add Disruptors. It's going to be the Zealot Archon Disruptor. Whoa! Serral's doing a Dark! Serral's doing a Dark! He's doing the Surprising Bane attack, but Zoun sees it. Zoun sees it. Zoun has time to spread the probes. He's trying to make an Archon or some sentries right now. Force Fields would be game changers. Oh, Force Field! Force Field, what are you doing? Zoun fumbles his command and lets the Banelings in the mineral line, despite that he only loses 7 workers, so maybe not the end of the world. The Archon does take out the Banelings on the north of that. The natural wall does not get breached. That Zealot holds on. He walked in an extra one there. He's only lost 7 probes so far. The Oracle is mincing this. Serral uncharacteristically does the Dark attack, but unlike Dark, who seems to always hit with a giant surprise, that seemed to just get spotted out. It seemed like he was too aware of what was going on. Now Zoun takes a 4th and takes a massive lead. He's up 15 workers. Serral's still got 45 Lings on the map. He needs more damage right now. He desperately needs more damage. He's going to go and get a cancel on the 4th base. That's a good move. +1 melee helps out. Does get a cancel on that. Those Lings on the right side as well. But he's got to drone like mad and get that Ravager tech up just to defend a counterattack. The problem is, if we see a Robo Bay, we could see Disruptors come in, and you don't want to be stuck making Roach Ravager versus Disruptors. If Zoun commits to just a Zealot Archon counterattack, Ravager Bane will handle it, but man, that's a late lair, late gases. Serral's economy is not looking great in this game, and he's just got to hope that Zoun doesn't counterattack for a little while, and he's got room to drone back up in this game. The Oracle Patrol is so good. I do want to criticize Serral. I think his Banelings should have hit from the left side if possible, because then they can blow up the natural and the 3rd at the same time. You can kind of pick the weaker of the options, and it still stops any army retreating from the 3rd back to the natural. But it ended up being a horrendous fight, of course. 2-to-1 units lost ratio in favor of Zoun. And man, that Archon was such a game changer as well. The Archon, where is he? 21 kills on that Archon. Zerglings and Banelings just suck versus Archons really bad. Alright, what do we got? 75 workers for Serral. He's recovered on the worker count. His supply looks okay. How does his supply look that okay? I mean, it's a Protoss player who's got 4 Archons and is going Disruptors now, and is up to like a really healthy gate count. Is going to be 11 gateways and a 4th base mining on 75 probes, so supply doesn't tell you everything. I mean, Roach speed is late. Serral doesn't have a 5th. He doesn't have an infestation. His upgrades were paused for a long time. He's finally adding +1 range. Yeah, even though the supply is ahead for him, I really don't think that tells us the story. He's still building gas geysers, so he's still killing drones to build buildings. This is like a weird thing about Zerg, because you sacrifice your units to build buildings. He's massing Banelings, but he's forgotten Baneling speed. He's making Overlord speed right now. No, you need Bane speed, bud. He's making mass slow Banelings. Serral gets a bit tilted when he gambles on an attack like that, because gambling is not his normal style. He does have trouble relaxing and saying, okay, just keep playing it out. Raynor and Dark smile in these scenarios and embrace the challenge. Serral, I think, is a little angry that the gamble didn't pay off, because he doesn't like gambling, but he kind of accepts it as something that he has to do to stay unpredictable as an opponent, and he has to pull it out in the final deciding game sometimes. So let's see if he can relax. He remembers Baneling speed and +2 melee now. They were delayed, but a second Evo and an Infestation Pit are on the way. He's got good supply. I think he's doing all right. Psystorm's coming in, so it's going to be a few Immortals added and Psystorm. I thought it would be Disruptors, but apparently Psystorm will be the play. Much more effective versus Massling Bane than Disruptors, so a very good choice. Then again, there's a lot of Roaches in the mix, some which will get turned into Ravagers inevitably, and Disruptors will be way better against those. Hive starts up on the 9-minute 40 mark. If he wants to go Lurkers, he needs to start a Hydra Den right now, and I don't think that's a bad idea, because we haven't really seen a late game transition into Stargate from Zoun yet. We know he's capable of it from his play in the past. But if he doesn't rush towards carriers, you might have time to make an awkward sideways transition into Lurkers before moving on up into things like Broodlord, Infestor, Viper, Corruptor. Big army coming forward. We've got 6 Archons up front, 7th one finishes Morphing and Immortal. 4 High Templar, who are going to have double Storm in about 30-40 seconds time. Serral setting up a big Ling Bane flank, which could be amazing on this sort of army, especially if you catch the High Templar. But attacking into that's going to do nothing. 3 cannons, 2 batteries. Catching the High Templar, getting the Sanger would be the way to go. Serral gets to surround on the Stalkers. The Banes are going to go for the run by, but the Stasis Trap is going to shut them down. 2 Stalkers go down. Tries to run the Banes in. Oh, he does set off the Stasis. Nice dodge, but that ends up doing nothing. He gets 2 Stalkers and a cannon. He's losing drones to these Zealots, which of course Banelings are not the ideal unit to deal with that. Serral's got a Hive and a Spire on the way. He's going to go Broodlords. Okay, so Broodlords is the tech. If he can defend one army, he can get into Broods and make it okay. He needs more Banelings though. And there's so many Archons and Psystorms. 1 High Templar goes down for not that many units. He doesn't have any Ravagers. There's no Ravagers in here. Oh, Serral. He's trying to go for the big boomies in the center of that army, but he is eating some gigantic Psystorms. He needs Ravagers. He's got to drop Biles in situations like that as well. The problem is Ravagers are obviously supply inefficient. He's got to pull back, make more Banes, make more Ravagers, give up this base. Serral cannot fight here. Serral can absolutely not fight into that, but he goes for it. Oh no! He needed to wait for the rest of his army to get out. He does take out one of the Immortals. The other Immortal very low on the red. Even the Phoenix helping out. Zoun's attention to detail is pretty damn amazing. The Archon Stalkers there, the Lings, the Roaches trying to defend. Serral has got a massive rally of units coming on out, but he's out of lava now. He's used up all of that lava, and he is absolutely out of just reinforcements. He's got 2-on-1 upgrades, but it's just Roachling Ravager versus a maxed out Psystorm, Archon Ball of Savagery. And Zoun shutting down the Ling Bane attack and just absolutely mincing it up. Fantastic play from him. 4 more Archons morphing in behind this. He's going to be carrying it forward. Zoun, even here, I said he was playing the exact same game as Tropical Sacrifice, but he swapped into Zealot Archon. He made a change up. He defended just so cleanly versus the Dark attack. And Serral may have taken inspiration from Dark this one game, but I don't think we'll ever see him try that build again because it fell flat. It did not work out, and Zoun comes out with the 3-2 victory. What a savage. Well, it's about time I got to casting that. I hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks everyone for supporting the Patreon. If you guys want to get on board, check out the description down below. And if you want to watch some other games, check out some of these other ones on the screen. Big thanks to Jacob G, the Leviathan of the channel. And of course, Max Sand, conductor of the D-Town Express. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Goodbye and good night.